All right, welcome back to the morning market mixer. So this has been live Monday to Thursday throughout the whole of March as part of TradeThirsty's March Madness. We only have a few trading days left in March, and so it's going to be an interesting few days while we get going with the last few sessions here. So for you guys that don't know me, haven't met me yet, I was here throughout the whole of March, but my name's Russell Barbour, and I started trading in 2012, and I started basically chasing penny stocks at market open. I was living in Seattle, Washington, and getting up at the market open at 6:30 a.m., which was very grueling. And so I spent a few years basically chasing penny stocks, failing miserably, lost about $20,000 of a $30,000 account trying those strategies. Spent years over trading, oversizing, trying to be right all the time. Found that wasn't the key to success. And really the things that changed for me was when I discovered zero DTE trading quite a few years ago now. Basically, I trade intraday SPY options now, zero DTE being the main focus. And I look for just one, sometimes two quality setups per day with well-defined entries, exits, and really strict risk management on those trades. So I'm going to go through the different things today as usual. So I'm going to go through the charts, earnings news, SPY levels, and the cheat sheet. So obviously the favorite platform I have, and most people do at this point, is TradingView. I wouldn't use anything else for my charts. Really phenomenal free platform. If you haven't tried it yet, check it out. It's awesome. So yeah, definitely check that out. For earnings and news, I use Earnings Hub. So it's earningshub.com. So you can go and check that out as well, and to see if there's any earnings this week that might change the market in some way. SPY levels, I use barchart.com and also my own proprietary levels. And then, of course, there's the cheat sheet that we've been giving out for the whole of March so far, which is at tradethirsty.com/MMM. I will just post that link in the chat here for you guys. So that's the cheat sheet link. The URL for the cheat sheet is in the chat now. Thanks, Slurpeak, saying good stuff, Russell. It's nice to get some engagement on these live streams. So let's just go through the cheat sheet for another time here. If you want to pick it up, just scan the QR code on the screen at the moment, and we'll just go through some of the cheat sheet right now. The cheat sheet's fairly simple. Basically, it's just an overview of zero DTE trading for people that don't know much about it. It's also outlines some of the strategy that I use in these sessions as well, very briefly. So zero DTE stands obviously for 0 days to expiration. So these are fast-moving volatile contracts that expire the same day. And so they're used to capitalize on very short-term price movements within typically a few minutes or less sometimes. So unlike longer dated options, zero DTE contracts lose value very rapidly due to theta decay. And so this means the trades have to be well timed, have momentum behind them, and have a clear market structure compared to longer dated option trades. So you definitely have to be really careful with these. I trade SPY exclusively. It simplifies my process in the mornings dramatically. And you see those preparations every day in the session here. And so it makes life so much easier than trading all these different tickers. So yeah, the benefits are you can get fast-moving contracts. So you can get 20%, 40%, 100% very quickly with these zero DTE trades. Typically, I'm looking for about 20% on these moves. And we've had 3 trades now throughout these sessions, and I've had a 20% profit on all of them, which has been really nice. So the downsides are the rapid time decay, obviously. The large price swings and fast losses are a double-edged sword. So you can end up making a lot of money or end up losing a lot of money very quickly with these zero DTE contracts. And basically, the strategy I'm using is very, very simple. It's an opening range breakout strategy. I start preparing just about 15, 20 minutes before the market, before I go live on these streams. I typically look at things like the 30-minute candle, the opening range basically on the 30-minute candle, drawing the lines in from the high wicks and the low wicks, and avoid predicting direction too early. I'm looking for a trend that really establishes and holds above the opening range, and it's been pretty solid strategy for a long time for me now. It's very simple. but it works. It works more times than not. So it's definitely fun to do. Typically, trades start to appear about 10:15, 10:20. Sometimes a bit later though, and then I miss them in the session, and I take them outside of the session. So yeah, we're looking at high probability setups. We're looking for things like break and hold outside the range. We're looking for break and retest and then a continuation. So very straightforward strategy, but works really, really well. All right, let's go back to the slides here. So a quick overview of what the SPY is. So SPY is an ETF, obviously. It was founded in 1993. It was the first ever US ETF ever listed. It obviously tracks the S&P 500, which is 503 stocks across 11 sectors. And this makes it very diversified. So it's really only subject to these crazy news coming out of Iran and things like that. You don't have to worry about much else. It's the #1 liquid ETF in the world, which makes it perfect for these 0 DTE trades. So here's the morning's agenda. We're going to go through our premium service a little bit, the SPY ATM alert. This is a trade that comes out at 10:30 Eastern time every morning. So right after I finish the session, it comes out in our premium Discord. We're going to talk a little bit more about that today as well, go into a little bit more detail about what that service actually is and how you could potentially join the service if that's something that sounds like it would suit your trading style. We're going to talk about overnight market news, earnings, any data that's coming up. There's not a lot going on today, but we'll talk about it. We're looking at market direction, like I talked about the opening range, looking at things like the key intraday levels on SPY, looking at VWAP, looking at the moving averages, and we're going to look at the expected move as well, any volatility, look at the volatility index, see what's going on there. And then, as usual, look for any potential trade opportunities at the end of the session as well. Sound good? All right, just looking at some of the comments today, we're getting some interaction here. So Phil Shepard saying, great presentation, 0 DT has been my bread and butter for years. Yeah, it's phenomenal. It's a lot of fun. So yeah, Phil's also saying love SPY and the Qs personally as well. Yeah, absolutely. It's a really, really simple, awesome strategy that works really, really well. So today is a little different. So normally what I do here is I recap the premium SPY ATM alert here, and I go through and talk about what happened the day before. But yesterday was actually a skip day in the service, so there wasn't actually a trade. So I thought today I would talk a little bit more about the service in detail. I know I've been talking about it kind of high level for the last 2 or 3 weeks in these sessions, but I thought what I'd do is just kind of show you a little bit more about the service. So in order to do that, let's switch over to the landing page here that we have for SPY ATM alerts. This is it right here. I'll also post a link to that in the chat as well, so you guys can go and check it out. So it's stockalertsreview.com/SPY ATM TT at the end. So here's the link to go and check out the landing page that I'm about to go through for the SPY ATM alerts. So you can see the page here. Basically, we've had some really phenomenal success over the last couple of years with this strategy. We made 124% in 2024, 102% in 2025. This is on a small account. We have the data on this page if you want to go through and check it out as well. And just a reminder, this is a simple SPY options trade. It's alerted at 10:30 a.m. Eastern time in a Discord channel, which is really nice. It gets pushed to your phone or whatnot, so you can follow this pretty easily. Typically, the trades are lasting 5, 10, 15 minutes, and sometimes a little longer, but often they're done very quickly, which is really nice because you don't have to worry about theta decay at all. So here's the details, the plots, so number of trades along the x-axis here, and the dollar improvement on the account. This was basically a $2,000 account, and it finished at 2,500 profits. So that's not the account value, that's the profits accumulated on that. And then in 2025, we also had 102% account growth just using the single 10:30 a.m. Eastern time trade. And it went up from a $2,000 account to a $4,200 account in the course of 2025. And you can see the number of trades we're doing. It's just one every day or so. Sometimes there's skip days like yesterday. But we do about 230, 240 trades in the course of a year. So very active service to be part of, that single trade every day. So yeah, it's simple call or put. It's similar to the trades that I do here, but it's a totally different strategy, much more sophisticated proprietary strategy than what I'm doing. And it's worth checking out for sure. So if you want to check that out, I put the link in the chat. It will also be in the description of the YouTube video if you're watching this in replay. And you can go and check out the different tiers that we have. It's only $150 a month, which is really low. Normally, we don't even offer the 150 a month. Usually, the minimum is a quarter. But for this March Madness, we've added this $150 so monthly, so you can just kind of check it out and see if it's for you. Phenomenal service, one of the best I've ever been involved with. I'm really excited to share it with you guys. So that's it basically for SPY ATM. Hopefully you guys will enjoy that service. Let's start talking about some of the overnight news this morning. Kind of a boring day, even though the market is gapping up, or did gap up. There really isn't a lot of news that's coming out. Really, the number one thing, again, is the geopolitical de-escalation stuff. So Middle East tensions are easing a little bit. Ceasefire discussions are reducing market risk. Risk-on sentiment is returning. So that's why we're starting to see a gap up in the markets. It's really as simple as that these days. Anything coming out of the Middle East is moving the market and moving the oil prices as well. So crude's down sharply on easing conflict fears, which gives us lower inflation pressure, reduces Fed tightening concerns. So that's also helping for today's slight bounce in the market. Tech strength is leading, so semiconductor stocks moving higher. NVIDIA providing leadership. Tech strength is obviously one of the key drivers of SPY to the upside, so it's part of the reason we're seeing a little bit of a bounce today as well. There's no major earnings this week. Let's have a quick look at the earnings hub here if it loads up for me. So really very thin week on earnings, really not much happening at all. So these are ones for today. Really no big names worth talking about at all. All right, so let's go over to the charts and start looking and seeing what's actually happening today. So let's go to SPY daily chart. That's where I like to start. There we go. So zooming in on the daily chart here, kind of seeing where we're at. You can still see all my lines that I'm drawing from yesterday as well. Yesterday was kind of a choppy day. Today's opening range is quite choppy as well, so we'll take a look at that in just a minute. You can still see we're still in this down channel. Periodically we gap up like here and here, but we're still in this just general down channel. And look at this getting closer and closer to a bearish cross, or death cross as it's known, on the 50 and the 100 moving average. And so I wouldn't be too surprised to see this continue down tomorrow as well, just because that's the trend that we're actually in. And there's very little support and resistance at this point as well. Really, we have this main line around 651.65. So that would potentially act to support for any further moves down on SPY. All right, let's look at the 30-minute chart here. So zooming in. Zooming in. So, all right, so as usual, what I did this morning before I went live, start to mark up the opening range here. So zooming in, hopefully you guys can see that okay. So the expected move is the bottom line there. So we're actually testing the expected move already today, since I calculated it about 15 minutes before going live. So I'm just moving the bottom of the opening range here. It moved slightly as I went live. We dipped down just a little bit more. I'm just moving it down to here. Okay, so you see this is the range where we're sitting currently on this 30-minute candle, and then this is the top of the opening range. This line is the expected move based on the at-the-money straddle about 15 minutes before we went live. This is the top of the expected move up here. So you can see we moved dramatically down since I did the calculation. So it's difficult to really place whether this expected move is particularly useful today. So we'll focus on the opening range as usual. We think we should be above VWAP at this point, or maybe actually just below it. Let's see. Yeah, kind of hard to see on this one. Let's drop down to the 5 minute. Let's see. Yeah, so we're just a bit below VWAP here. The blue line is VWAP. So we're kind of using it as resistance at the moment. So look how well these tails wick down to test this 30-minute opening range. Really tested it perfectly right here. So it was a test and then back into the opening range here a little bit. Yeah, so while we're waiting for a potential trade to set up here, so we'd be looking for a bounce off the VWAP and then a breakdown of the bottom of the opening range, right? That'd be kind of the trade at the moment. We're closer to the bottom of the opening range. The opening range, by the way, was 0.66 today, which is 0.66%, which does suggest a potential choppy day. That's a larger opening range than normal. The last few days we've had 0.4 and 0.45. So 0.66 is starting to get quite choppy. So yesterday we saw a very choppy day as well. Really didn't break out through the opening range much at all during yesterday's session. So anyway, while we're waiting for that to see if it actually moves into a tradable position over the next few minutes, I just wanted to share just one more slide with you guys. So yeah, so we're looking for feedback on these sessions. So they're short sessions. We'd just like to get any feedback that you potentially have for us. It's been March Madness, but we're looking at maybe extending this or doing like more sessions or whatnot. So we're looking for feedback from you guys. I know there's not been a huge amount of interaction in the chat over the last few weeks, but hopefully you guys are finding some sort of value from these sessions, and it'd be really interesting to know some more feedback. So if you guys could get a chance, if you could email jnet@tradethirsty.com, so our email's up on the screen, also typing it into chat here as well. If you could email jnet@tradethirsty.com, she's the owner and founder of TradeThirsty, so she'd be really interested to hear whether this is something that you guys want to continue doing or continue seeing, whether it's something that needs to be overhauled to do different information, a different strategy maybe. Any tips or feedback that you have would be greatly appreciated. So she asked me if we could set that up so that you guys can email her and give her some feedback. So VIX is at 25 today, so still inflated, but not terrifying at the moment. 25 definitely more elevated than usual. You can see where we are on the daily chart with VIX as well. So we've been elevated for a while now, really choppy spikes here. But we'll see as things cool down in the Middle East, see if this reverts back down to the below 20 level would be pretty nice to see. So right now we're right in the middle of this opening range, below VWAP here. But really it's not testing either the upper range or the lower range enough to warrant a trade at this point. So what I usually do is once I finish this live session is I'll just keep watching it, and often 10-20 minutes later we'll see a breakdown or a breakout from the opening range, and so there's often some good opportunities right after the live session here. But unfortunately today looks like we're kind of stuck in the lower half of the opening range here, so we're not set up for a breakout or a retest anytime soon. So with that, let's keep an eye on the charts, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.